What is up, guys? Luke Callahan, or the Disc Golf Kid here, and I have a huge announcement today. I have picked up Discraft Underground as my sponsor for the 2020 disc golf season. For me, this has been a big goal since I started playing disc golf. I always wanted a sponsor, but especially Discraft. Discraft is a company that when I pick up their discs, I feel like I'm about to throw a good shot, and so that really gives me comfortability to be able to throw better shots when I'm on the course. So I'm going to do a little bit of an in the bag. I have known this news for about a month now, so I've been building my bag, but I wanted to wait till I was sure with all of my disc choices to let it out to the public so that you guys could know. So I'm going to start off with my putting putters. If you guys didn't already know, I've been putting with Jawbreaker Challengers for about 7 or 8 months now. These are my two oldest, really seasoned, really straight. I love the grip, and they're really nice for high, lofty push putts. Next up, we're going to move up to some throwing putters. I have a Rubber Blend Luna here. I tried putting with these for about 2 months because they feel really good in my hand, but after, not 2 months, 2 weeks. But after about 2 weeks, I realized that the Jawbreaker Challengers are just what's best for me. So I started throwing it, and I'm loving it. It's super dead straight. I can put it on a little hyzer. It's gonna pop up and just go straight the whole way. So I'm really liking this for some straighter shots. Next up, I'm gonna go to my X-Soft Ringer GT. This has to be one of my favorite discs in my bag right now. Feels really low profile. It has a bit of a thumb top right there. I forgot, thumb track. And then it has a bead on the bottom. It's kind of shallow, but not crazy shallow, but it feels really good for short forehand approaches and some straight backhands with a little bit of fade. This disc is really grippy, and it has not that much glide, or it doesn't have that much glide, I think would be the proper grammar. So I can really rip on this thing and know that it's not going to go too far past the basket, which is some confidence that I like to have on the course. Next up, I'm going to go into my zones. I'll grab my other one from the bottom here. I have an ESP and I have a Pro D. My Pro D is super beat up, really warped, but it feels so good for a sidearm approach. I can really give this a nice ripped sidearm, and I know if I throw it on a touch of hyzer, it'll pop up, turn a little bit, but then still fade every time like a zone does. And then obviously you got to have a overstable zone in your bag for short forehands or just backhand hyzers. Next up, putters, I have a Pro D Challenger. This has really been a good disc for me in North Carolina, being able to throw hyzer flip to turnover shots all through the woods. Just a super flippy disc because it's pretty beat up, and I'm loving this for the woods shots. Last putter in my bag, and the farthest flying probably, is the Crystal Luna. This is a misprint 5-time Paul Macbeth stamped Crystal Luna. I love this for just a straight or even slight turnover shot. It really holds any angle. I can throw it on hyzer and it's gonna hold it the whole way, and hyzer, it's gonna hold it the whole way, and flat, it'll just fly straight with a little bit of finish to the right. So this thing goes forever, and I'm really liking it out here in North Carolina. Next up, mid-ranges. I have 4 mid-ranges. I'm gonna start with the most understable and probably my favorite right now. This beautiful, beautiful Buzz SS. This thing is super straight, but it'll still turn on me. I can throw it flat and it's just gonna turn over a little bit, maybe finish flat. Hyzer flips, really big turnover shots. I'm just loving this disc for really anything I need right now. Next up in stability, I have 2 regular ESP Buzzes. I have a regular camouflage ESP one right here, and one of the 4-time claw marks. This one is pretty freaking beautiful, if you guys can see that. So this one's a little bit newer. This one I can throw, and it's gonna go straight the whole way. Really not much turn, not much fade. This one I'll throw it, and it'll go straight for about 80 to 90% of the flight like a Buzz does, but then it'll start fading at the end, which there's not much difference, but as a thrower, I can really tell which one I need for which shot. Next up, and one of my go-tos, is a Paul Macbeth Malta. It's a little smaller than most mid-ranges, but it has a bead, and the plastic feels so good on this thing. I can rip it as hard as I want. It's not gonna turn over at all. It's gonna go straight and then just have a consistent dump. So I'm really liking this for big mid-range hyzers or anything I really need like that. Fairway drivers, got a lot of these. Again, we're gonna start with most understable and work up to most overstable. Most understable probably going to be this TI Undertaker. This thing is really flippy. The first Undertaker I ever bought, actually. This thing got me through almost all of Junior Worlds. I was throwing some great lines, but now it is a roller disc. Super flippy, but I'm still bagging it. I love it. Next up, I got 2 more Undertakers. This one is pretty dead straight, getting a little flippy on me, but I'll throw it and it'll turn over and then come back. Just a nice S-shaped Undertaker right here. Really liking this one too in the woods. Next up is my pretty new titanium Undertaker. I've had this one for probably 2 months now, but I haven't really ripped on it that much. Kind of just like throwing it for a straight shot that then is still going to have a consistent fade. If I were to flick an Undertaker, it would probably be this one because it'll still give me the overstable finish. And it's pretty flat for an Undertaker. Next up, the slowest fairway driver I have, and probably the second flippiest, is the Discraft ESP Sting. This thing is so beautiful. I love how this flies. The smoothest turnover you've ever seen in your life. I can pop it on a hyzer, it'll flip up to flat, and just glide over to the right and never even think about coming back. It's 7.5, -2.1. I would probably give it a 7.5, -2.5, 0. It's so perfect. Really, one of the best beginner discs I think out there right now is going to be the Sting, but you can still use it at all levels of skill. Next up is going to be the Onyx. This is still a test flight or prototype. I love how this rim feels in my hand for a backhand. When I grip it in a power grip, that little slot right there fits so perfectly for my grip, and I can just rip on it flat and know that it's going to stay flat and then dump. This is probably my go-to spike hyzer disc for a fairway driver because it goes so far, but it's still going to dump every time. Next up are my Raptors. Got a bag of Raptor. I tried the Predator out. It didn't really feel good in my hand, so I started throwing the Raptor. Feels really good. I got a first run Z here and a Ulibarri ESP. It's a little dirty, but I really love these things. They're really overstable. This one's probably a little beefier. I can rip this one flat on a flick and it's gonna dump. Backhand, it'll stay straight for a little bit, but then start to dump. This one is probably my go-to right now for sidearm because it'll stay straight a little longer, but then still have the consistent dump. So I'm really liking these for flex shots, dump shots, really whatever I need. Next up, we got the distance drivers, and my main distance driver right now is none other than the Zeus. I have 5 Zeuses in my bag, all different wear and tear. This one, one of the flippier ones right now. It's a bottom stamped 1057 rated. I actually have 2 of those runs. Really good run of Zeus. They fly super well. I can throw it and it'll turn for a lot and then still have a consistent fade back. The pink one, pretty much the same thing, but just a little bit more overstable. But I'd really recommend picking up some of these 1057 rated Zeuses. Next up, I have a prototype Kong Zeus. I don't know what to call it. This one is one of the more overstable ones, really flat. Probably my main flick Zeus right now, just because of how flat it is. If I throw it backhand, it'll turn a little bit, but then it's still going to come back every time. I really like that one for wind. My 2 bombers are my 2 first run Zeuses. Don't know why, but the first run goes farther for me. Love how these ones fly. Blur out that number. But this one's probably my max distance. This one's super freaking domey. Really just going to go forever. Goes about 460 for me right now. And then this one is a little newer, a little more overstable, but still bombs. Next up in distance drivers, this is the disc that I'm kind of trying out right now. It's a Nuke SS. I needed a really flippy distance driver slot in my bag, and one of my buddies, Kyle, actually gave this to me, and he told me to try it out. I've been throwing it. It's definitely flippy. I just need to get used to it a little bit more, but I am bagging it and trying it out. Next up, my main forehand driver right now is going to be this ESP Force. This thing is crazy beat up, really overstable. I can flick this flat and it might give me a little turn, but then it's still going to fade, but overall just really straight. Never backhand this, really just my go-to forehand driver. Next up, My overstable distance driver is going to be the Paul Macbeth Force. I really like this clear pink one. Pop top, really beefy. I can throw it forehand, I can throw it backhand, and I just know it's going to dump no matter what I do. I bagged a Nuke OS, and it was really similar to this, so I just took it out to clear space in the bag, and I'm really liking this right now for all of my woods shots that I need to just dump, get around a corner, whatever I got to do. That is it in my bag, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to have some shots of me throwing these discs in the video, I'm assuming. So you're going to get to see how they fly and what I'm talking about. But thank you so much for watching. We're really close to 2,000 subscribers, so make sure to tell all your friends. Doing that giveaway drawing soon. I think that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace. Alright guys, got all my discs here. We're going to give them a rip. Start off with the putters, go flippiest to most overstable. Got my flippy Challenger here. Nice and flippy. Now I got my Rubber Blend Luna. I'm expecting a little bit of a straighter flight. Just pretty straight. Yeah. Okay. It was a terrible shot, but it went straight. We might edit another one in at the end of the video if you want to see how that disc flies actually. Crystal Luna, pretty much the same, just farther. Nice straight flight. Next up, shortest, Ringer GT. Probably just gonna throw a hyzer. Just doesn't go far. Got my two zones. I'm gonna rip this one forehand and this one backhand. This one's a little flippier, a lot flippier actually. And then gonna rip the Pro D thingamajigger. Oh my gosh, that was so bad. Why did I organize these? Alright. Got the buzz. Hey, what's up? Good, how are you? That's not bad. That's my flippy one. I think I forgot to say that. Now I got my Discraft ESP buzz. I got my Paul Macbeth 4-time ESP buzz. Just gonna be a little more stable than that, I think. Oh my god, I tripped it over. Okay, well, I accidentally put a little anhyzer on that, and we got the right to left one pushing it down. Sorry, guys. Malta, pretty freaking stable. Alright, fairway drivers. Start with the Undertakers. This is my flippy one. I'm gonna rip a roller, and we'll see how far it goes. That was pretty good. This is my stable Undertaker. Nice straight flight with some fade. Then this one's also a straight one. Oh my gosh, that was so bad. Really high.
Just pretend like you wanted to show the difference. That's what one does low and that's what one does high.
Got my ESP Sting here, just a really smooth hyzer flip turnover. Really nice utility disc. Onyx, just gonna throw a big hyzer out there. That thing goes forever. Raptors. Start with the overstable one. Gonna backhand this one. Try and get a nice S flex. Threw it a little too low, but you definitely can see how it was trying to flex out. This one I'm gonna flick. It's a little straighter. Not too shabby. Distance drivers, gonna rip this. Still don't exactly know how it flies, but I know it's pretty freaking flippy. That's a roller. Wow, that thing's even flippier than I thought. All right, into the Kongs. Just gonna see how far I can throw these pretty much. Oh my gosh, that was bad. All right, same run of Kong. Pretty good one. Still not crazy far, but a good flight. Got the prototype, the flat one. Just gonna throw a big hyzer with this one. You can see I threw it out there on a touch of hyzer, popped up, went straight the whole time, and then just had a fade. 2 max distance ones, just gonna see which one goes farther. There's a good one. Yeah, finally got one out there. Now this one has to beat that pretty much. Not enough Annie. All right, got my forehand force, the ESP one. Just gonna rip it on some Annie out there, let it come back. Pretty nice flex. Now I got the Z force. Just gonna also try and flex this one, but this one's way beefier. That was pretty bad. I almost hit the little girl. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. Don't know if I already said that, but thank you to Discraft Underground for the sponsor for the 2020 disc golf season. Super stoked to get out there and rep you guys' discs. Till the next video, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.